Hello Roftwood, it's me, Zombie GG with the Roftwood Coordination Center, proudly presenting you with another post-apocalyptic production I like to call an RCC Fireside Chat. This is part 3 of my series with a player whose contributions to Urban Dead both in-game and on the wiki are nothing short of colossal, Johnny P. Baraga. Thanks for tuning in, I hope you enjoy the show. Three, two, one. Alright, we are back. Let me rehash again. What? We got DEM stuff covered. Your Danger Center contributions. Yep, now I feel super guilty about Roftwood being freaking gray on the Danger Center.
And it will never happen again.
Yeah, that's a seed planted. I can share that information with the RCC community. Make everyone else feel guilty with me.
Definitely do that.
RF, you played under Irishman with Team America, you leveled up pretty quick, and then you went on a hiatus for a while. Was there a particular reason? You just...
It was just one of those things, I guess, where you... Urban Dead is one of those games where you can fade for a week, a month, a year, and then come back and then just carry on, and that's what happened there as well. And then I joined the Big Bash for a bit, Big Bash 4. Didn't even see the end of that and faded again.
I don't know, seasonal stuff, man. It happens.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like the mood for me to actually get involved was there, but I have to be fair, the 5th of November event and the backlash of that really bummed me out, and after the Danger Center stuff, I was burned out of wiki stuff for a bit.
Understandably so. Those are pretty significant contributions.
Do not look in that code.
I don't want to. Absolutely not. I'll get like motion sickness or something.
Yeah, I talked to Moloch recently because like, yeah, I like the wiki pages you've been involved with and the group pages. As he said about, I think he said something about the East Backtown Defenders page. That's one of the creations of me and Stellar, I think, were the main contributors.
That is one of my favorite wiki pages ever. The dynamic danger map that you guys have going on for that place is so cool.
Oh, there's a lot of cool, like, little things. If I look at the... We'll get there, Let's keep...
Okay.
I'm trying to keep the chronology a bit decent.
Yeah, so you did the hiatus, come back for Big Bash 4, go out, and then come back again. Do you remember what year?
2016.
Okay, that's when you decided, or started feeling it again?
I may have logged into Johnny Two Toes a couple times along the road, but I never really got like the vibe going again.
So that's your DM guy who went PKer for a bit?
He went PKer, and then in the end he ended up at the Birch, so with the bar guys. He just hung around a bit, chatted once in a while, and then just went inactive again.
And that was 2016?
That was in between 2013 2016. And in 2016, I logged back in just to see, what's what and what's happening. There are still people I know around. I noticed Charles were gone. The DEM were slow to respond to if I sent messages.
And you were using forums back then still?
Yeah, I think the DEM's main channel still is the Brainstock forums. Most groups have migrated, or most public groups have migrated to Discord at this point. But I think the DEM is still on their Brainstock forums. And then I noticed a new forum, which had been started up, which was NecroConnect.
Whoa, I haven't heard of that one yet.
That's a bit weird because it's the place where the East Backtown Defenders had been founded shortly before I joined the forums, and I joined up with the East Backtown Defenders. I was like in the mood. I'd been a member of a couple of roaming groups.
So this is in the northwest part of the city, like next to the famous Kiger Mall?
Yeah, mostly like almost dead west, just under Kiger Mall. That's where you'll find East Backtown.
So it's a pretty hot spot, right?
Yeah, it's close. It was close enough to the action, so we could always go to Ackland and to Ackland to the east, and then Kiger Mall to the north. So there was always a bit of action going on. But we also weren't based at Kiger Mall. which really helped as well because you don't like have to be constantly vigilant.
Constantly be on guard. Yeah. Man, it's freaking stressful haunting. I played a little bit Kiger Mall with an alt, and that place is switching hands all the time. So much action, all like in short time.
Yeah, but it's the kind of action that gets boring easily. Like you're doing the same things over and over again. While we took a bit of distance in East Becktown, and we weren't involved. We still aren't involved in every battle for Ackland or for Kiger. We choose our battles at this point. Like if it seems like a fun idea or a useful idea to do it, we'll do it. But we're not forced to, and it's not a big thing if one of the malls or even both go down. And that's where I met Stellar, if I recall correctly. I joined these Becktown Defenders, which were founded by Staubach or Staubach. I always imagined him being German for some reason, because that's his name, Staubach. I was among the first 10 or 20 members, I think, who joined up. And I immediately liked the vibe of the group, because very early on we decided that the zombies who were in Daubeny, the Daubeny resident Sambas, they could keep Daubeny. Like, we had this like standing, not an official truce, but it was an agreement within the Becktown Defenders, like, hey, we can do without the Daubeny. It's fine. They can have it. They don't roam.
Just let them have it.
Yeah, there actually were a couple of occasions where one of the DRZ zombies came out of the Daubeny, broke into a building, and just wanted to talk to us a bit. And they would just want us to let you know, like, they pointed at someone in the room and just went, like, in zombie language, just like, yeah, that guy's an asshole.
So they're in zombie form speaking death rattle?
Yeah, they use death rattle to tell us, like, hey, this guy is an asshole. He broke into our building, he repaired it, that's very rude. And then they just ate him, waved at me, and went out again. Like, they're not interested in ruining it for everyone else, they just want to keep their home.
They're like civil zombies. That's beautiful. That's like the zombies in Nicole's Maw that I love harassing all the time. Those guys are so dedicated.
Yeah, and most zombies who claim a territory sooner or later become very aggressive about that.
Like territorial.
And they want to claim the next, yeah, very territorial. They want, like, I've got this building and the next and whatever. And in the end they claim a suburb or even an area like the greater Ridley Bank area. Sorry for Roftwood.
Oh, it's wicked fun, yeah. I love how we have the different perspectives. It's such a cool story. Greater Ridley Bank versus Greater Roftwood.
I think that's also the fun thing about the DRZ. Like, they've got their building, and it's the one occasion in the entire 10 years that I've known this game where both zombies and survivors have, like, the same perspective.
Wow.
We never thought of it as, like, the DRZ conquered the building or something. No, they were there before us. That's fair. They don't want anything else. They just want the one building. They don't ruin stuff around it. I mean, it's literally adjacent to the central cluster of East Becktown, which we call our home. And it never bothered us. There are plenty of Necrotech buildings. They can have them. Go inside, have a chat. Don't shoot them.
Was there even like a fondness for him? It kind of sounds like there was.
Yeah, because there were several occasions, and these things are screenshotted. You should ask Stellar for the screenshots of this. There are several occasions where they had conversations where, like, Caden went into the Daubeny a couple times and had a chat. I'm looking at the history of these Becktown Defenders, and you can see on May 16th, 2016, Caden Inchabel contacts the DRZ using their own unique dialect in an attempt to establish diplomatic relations.
That is ingenious.
And it's one of those fun things. And we quickly started to, like, grow. And then the first ally we actually contacted the DRZ before we had allies. So we contacted the zombie group before we contacted a survivor group.
Did those guys have like a meta presence,
No.
like on a forum
Nope.
or something? Wow.
They're just in
It's
that damn
all just
building,
like
yeah.
in game. That's so awesome.
And then later on we got some pretty close ties to what was left of the DHPD, the Dunhill Hills Police Department. Then the Soldiers of Crossman, which are of course a bit up north. And then the Knights Templar as well. Later in the summer of 2016 things were growing, and there were a lot of, like, operations with the EBD, and at the spear point of those operations you'd usually find either me, Stellar, or both of us, along with a very strong core group of players, of active players. And I think Staubach, the original leader of the EBD, he left in good spirits as far as we know. We've encountered him a couple of times since, but he wasn't up, or he wasn't feeling it for like leading an ambitious group. Like, you know, you have to be willing to coordinate, to keep up, to welcome new members, because we were, especially Stellar is very good at it. She was recruiting very aggressively, I want to say, like very actively, this is more appropriate perhaps. And a lot of new people were flowing in, and you have to welcome them, you have to like get them used to what the group is about, what you want to do, what they can expect from you. And at about the same point in the summer, we started launching operations like Operation Cowboy, which was a reclamation of the West Becktown area.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's like a little Wild West excursion.
Yeah, and a month after that, we did Lucanswood in the same spirits, and we're currently planning to relaunch operations like that. So if any survivors want to join up, they're more than welcome. And he just decided to leave a bit. And as far as I know, at that point, some people approached me and Stellar for leadership. But as if I recall correctly, I immediately just went like, yeah, I'm not like to be trusted with leadership. I'm a fader. I tend to leave for long stretches. That's not what a group needs. So yeah, and definitely Stellar was the best choice, and it clearly was, because the group is still going.
Yeah, and like on the group stats page for as long as I've been playing.
Yeah, that's actually a very fun story from the first time we got on the group stats page. We held a party. We invited people, and we went with like the EBD stat party or whatever.
It's an achievement, man, and it's usually like when people are active like that, there's a lot of personalities responsible for it, meaning that people are having fun, and there's people responsible for keeping people like active.
Yeah, and the party we organized was like, for me it was one of the best times I've had in UrbanNet, because it wasn't just us. We our home base, the bar where you'll find us mostly, is in the Pau Arms, which I made into my home. It's famous for having my pool table, which Stellar keeps breaking in the group lore, so to say. And on July 3rd, we made it onto the group stat page for the first time since we were founded 2 months later. And we invited everyone for a party on a Thursday after that. It's not really clear. Thursday, July 6th. Yeah, July 6th, that's what it says here. And we invited all of our allies, and you had people from...
So you guys hit group stat page, like, what, you started in May, so May, June, July, so three months, pretty much, less than 3 months, you guys, like, hit the group stats page. Sounds like it had a good recipe out the gates and some good leadership early on.
It took some experimenting. I'm not saying that we had the perfect recipe immediately, but if you look at the people who showed up, we had people from the Knights Templar, the DHBD, Soldiers of Crossman, Coram, which was still active. I have no idea if they're still out there, and a lot of other people, and they just visited, and we had a fashion show in-game. It's always fun to like dress up, and the dress code that we sent out ahead was like, hey, please be decent and don't have any blood on your clothes. It may be considered a sign of zombieism as people get drunker. Pants are optional. That was the official dress code that was in the invitation. It was like an encouragement for people to like dress up, get a new outfit, get your profile nice and like fashionable. It was very fun. Like, I remember a lot of things about that. Like, Staubeck did a song. I did a version of New York, New York by Frank Sinatra, but I made it into Malton. I'm not sure if it still exists somewhere, probably does. And then Staubeck did like Set Shack based on a B-52's classic. A lot of different things happened. It was just a couple of fun days, and of course sooner or later everything got wrecked, and okay, party's over. Was good. Like 3 days of fun, drinking, speeches. A couple of groups actually brought decorations, which they installed in the Pau Arms, and was like, yeah, this is our gift to the EBD. That's fun. There's one thing I want to note about the East Becktown Defenders wiki page. Aside from the Danger Center, this is the wiki page that I am the most proud of. There are so many little hidden things. Like, for instance, if you scroll down to halfway the page, there's the EBD sitrep. That is an automatically generated block of text. It has flavor text for all kinds of situations. It pulls from like 20, 30 different sources and lists and things that we made, and it generates this tiny situation report with the sitrep with some flavor texts like it's dangerous, not a single shambler in sight. That's probably from the radio reports, like the automatic in-game radio reports. And then military reports indicate that the suburb is severely damaged. We're looking at 3/4 of the suburb in ruins here. This pulls from the wiki resources, so as long as the status of those buildings isn't updated, or no radio reports coming and are updated elsewhere on the wiki, like Kiger Mall, some zombie attacks, I'm not sure if it's up to date, and it might be a little broken at this point. I have to check, but it also says like a good example of how custom made it is and how dynamic is the mobile phone mast update.
The mobile phone mast is in the Percival building. Seems to be the only one that's up and running in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that line of text is one of like a dozen different possibilities, and it checks like in a 3x3 square of suburbs. And if there are others, then it will say like, yeah, the mobile phone masts in the Percival building and in, I'm just saying, the example building are running. These and these ones are ruined, and that one's. It's a little extra flavor. There's also the quotes at the bottom. They also cycle based on what time of day it is.
And this all is like interconnected to the wiki, so like what the text displays is based on like what's being updated on the wiki and what's being broadcasted on the radio.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as the wiki is being updated, this is what you'll find. I've linked you the tools page on the EBD group page as well. That includes a lot of the tools we use. What I do wanted to show you was a very specific tool, and that's the danger updater page. Because you said like, yeah, I'm wiki lazy. Well, this...
So there's danger center and danger updater.
Yeah, danger center is like for the entire wiki. Danger updater is something I linked to you. It's under tools under the EBD group page, and it's just for Eastbeck Town.
Ah.
It has a list of all the buildings, all next to each other, along with like the last update, so you can see when it was updated last time. A lot of these are pretty old, by the way.
Yeah, February 2nd.
And you can also just like click update on each and every one of those. I usually do a middle click because then you open it in a new tab.
And it just makes it so easy to update.
Yeah, that's how we got around.
Jeez, that's cool.
And it's...
you just make it like so you don't have to like search all the different pages. You can just go to this one page and click the like link.
Yeah, you can just update it all in one go. Very easy to go. And that's how I still like, some of these are still being used, like the last updates, the most modern updates are from June, I see. So we probably should like revamp that a bit.
Get more active.
Absolutely.
I don't like just keep talking about it. I did that thing with Bob like months ago, and I've still been pretty wiki lazy. It's taking a lot of time with these podcasts, and then just like in-game stuff, trying to keep things interested in the campaigns carrying on. Time, man, but I don't know. I need to look at it more as it's important, and it's a really cool way to contribute to something that literally everyone can do. Because a lot of people use the wiki. Not everyone uses the RCC Discord, but everyone who plays Urban Dead for the most part uses the wiki. So yeah, it's pretty important to stay on top of that, have a respect for it.
Yeah, but it's one of those. It's not ingrained in a lot of group policies, and most groups, like the Department of Emergency Management, the DEM, actually have policies that keep people from updating the wiki. And it's counterproductive. I know the urge of a lot of people to keep information like
secret.
Yes, secret or classified. And if you look at my updates, I will never like say there are so many survivors in here and this is installed. I'll just update if it's barricaded, if it's lit, stuff like that. And that's what will attract attention.
Keep it super like objective.
Yeah, because it's counterproductive to keep quiet or out of the picture. I get that it heightens your personal survival chances, but it basically torpedoes your group survival chances. Because a group survival is not based on the fact of how many people are alive in game. It depends on how many new people come into your group, because people will fade over time. And that's something you have to be able to anticipate.
Account for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So update the damn danger reports on certain buildings, danger statuses, and don't be afraid to like tag it with your group tag. If you look at The zombie hordes that are currently active, like Moloch, is very much um, updating whatever they ruin with the gore core, and he literally says, like on Guernsey Cinema, he says like the building has fallen to the Ridley Bank resistant fronts. That's a link. Gore core. That's a second link. So everyone who sees that building can see, oh, they ruined this, they did this, they had this influence on the current game. And that advertises.
It's true. It's
I try and do the same for the Scourge, but I'm not as punctual about it as I should be.
I do admit that the original roots of my not updating the wiki stuff is because I don't like people just tracking my AP or whatever. But I do totally.
There's a very simple trick to that.
Baba shared with me that I just wait a couple days and I just report. Like, it's fine if it's a couple day old report. It's like annoying if it's like a month old report.
Yeah, but it's cute that's an idea. It's a cute idea. It's a sensible idea. But the matter of the fact is, 2 or 3 days after you've ruined a building as a zombie or secured a building as a survivor, you're not gonna update that. It's not gonna happen. The trick to keeping your location a secret is to update the statuses in a batch and update them out of order.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's simple as that. I usually update like everyone's statuses that I can find in one go, and suddenly there are 100 status updates. Now, if you're going to track me through those 100, if you're going to pinpoint them on a physical map and try and see where the route is that I took, and from which end of that route that I went to which end, and then want to figure out which of those buildings I'm in, I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
I can be in so many places. I can have backtracked. I can have started on the other side. I can be hiding in a dark building that I didn't update very close to the route I took. It's bullshit that you're afraid. And unless you're saying in your status update like, yeah, this is a safe place where I'm camping and I'm guarding the location like a real trenchcoater, well, you're gonna die and you probably deserve it. But even then, the RRF is not gonna divert their course to your location. The Scourge isn't doing it either, in all fairness.
It's an irrational fear, I admit.
It was a very rational fear when there were like 5 to 10,000 people in every suburb, but right now there are 2 or 3,000 accounts still active. Chill the fuck out. If you want to keep it active, advertise what you're doing. If you're not advertising it, it's one of those stories, if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, does it make a sound? In this case, no. If you're being stalked by a PKer, that's a different story. You can update part of your tracks and then just make sure that the last 2 or 3 buildings you go through, or even 5 or 6, aren't on the map. That's fine. I'm not saying update everything. If you want to keep your last 1 or 2 steps a secret, be my guest. That's fine. But yeah, back to the timeline a bit, because I can't keep doing this for another hour, I'm afraid. I'd love to, by the way. I like talking Urban Dead with you.
Yeah, we can have another series at another point in time, but we got like almost 2 hours coming up now or something like that.
Jesus. So what happened was that I got a bit bored with Survivor Life, and I just sent Stellar a message on the NecroConnect forums and like, hey, you wanna try something new? Because a couple of years ago I had this other group I was a part of, and they were zombies. I was like, yeah. She was a bit hesitant at first, but I convinced her, and then we brainstormed a bunch of ideas, and it became the Scourge, which is still going to this day.
Hello again, Roftwood. This concludes part 3 of my discussion with a player whom I have grown to respect for their mature perspectives, tactical insights, and overall contributions to Urban Dead both in-game and on the wiki, the Johnny P. Baraga. Be sure to stay tuned for the final, Part 4, coming soon. This RCC Fireside Chat is a post-apocalyptic production proudly presented to you by the Roftwood Coordination Center. I'm Zombie GG, and as always, Roftwood, the pleasure's been mine.